Hello, Nicole.
Hello, Carrie.
I got to tell you, when you agreed to do this, I was super excited, right? And I will tell you why. And I will tell everybody who's listening why. Because I knew you before. I knew you before you had this meteoric uh, rise in what you do, right? You, if I'm speaking out of line, let me know. But let's just say that you weren't as successful, and then it's like a switch was flipped, and you became a superhero. Would that be fair?
Yeah, Carrie, you knew me when I couldn't find the pixel, right?
Yes, yes. Do you know where the pixel is now?
No, I still can't find the pixel, but I just outsourced that.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't matter.
The way I see it, the pixel can't find me. That's how that goes.
Well, not as much as you jet about the world. Exactly. All right, so you have labeled yourself a unicorn, correct?
True.
Right. What does that mean?
It means I do whatever the fuck I want now, and I don't have any more bosses, and I get to do things my way. True self attracts your true believer, and really in the capacity of just not following the social norms and being able to flip the switch and go from mouthy bartender getting fired from 2 jobs to mouthy millionaire in 13 months.
Mouthy millionaire in 13 months. There it is. Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. You went from, let's just say, a working woman to, trading your time for money and working, as a bartender or bartender coach. You crappy hours. I would have to imagine crappy hours. In my worldview, it would be crappy hours.
90 hours a week till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. With kids, with family, and it's like, man, that just doesn't resonate with me. Now, your new lifestyle definitely resonates with me.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's much better. It's much
Yeah.
better.
So, okay, I asked you this question before, and I want to know the real answer. What was that moment in time that Nicole said, "F this, I'm doing something different"? What preceded the success?
Well, I'm gonna give you 2 moments here, Carrie, because the first moment was actually before any of this internet marketing stuff started, right? This was the moment where I decided to stop drinking. And I was actually still a bartender then, which not drinking while you're a bartender is damn near impossible, right? But I had a moment where I just kind of like my eyes opened for the first time. I was driving home from somewhere I never should have been, doing some things that I never should have been doing. And I had this voice in my head where it just clicked, where it said, I just don't want to live like this anymore. And that used to kind of touch the suicide button. It used to touch the depression and the anxiety button. But this time, something different happened, is that it clicked in and it said, so just don't. And it was like the thought had never even occurred, right? Like that I could just change my life or be a different person. I was a bartender that worked 90 hours a week. I was really good, a really good bartender. I mean, I was making 10 or 12 grand a month, which was 3, 4 times the industry standard. I was really good at what I did. And I was absolutely miserable. And in that moment, I realized that it was a choice, right? That I could choose something different. I came home, I got on Facebook, because it's not real if you don't put it on Facebook, Carrie. And I put it on Facebook and I said, I'm not going to drink for 1 year. And all my friends laughed and said, okay, bitch, we'll see you in 2 weeks. But I didn't. I didn't drink for a whole year. And that changed my life because I realized that I was using alcohol as a coping mechanism and numbing myself out for everything. And so that was really the catalyst of change, was having the clarity to see myself differently, to feel my feelings for the first time, because I'd just been numbing them out my entire life, and really seeing that I could do something different. And, that's how you and I met, is because I fell into a Facebook ad funnel before I knew what a Facebook ad funnel was. Never had heard the word funnel. Funnel to me meant beer bong.
Right,
But
right.
that's how I met you, is that coming into that Facebook ads course. That was the first online course that I had ever done. That was the first I'd ever heard of online education in that capacity, outside of like, some junior college running some shitty college night classes. And I fell into that funnel, and, I got into that program with you and learned that I was really bad at Facebook ads, but that I was also really good at getting clients that I couldn't serve. It was quite the experience, right? But then in becoming and shifting over, my second moment here was that when I became a coach instead of an ad agency, that was not a good ad agency, but when I shifted over to coaching and really helping people to learn how to use social media to effectively get clients, there was a day, one single day, where I was 3 months into this coaching game and I made $10,000 in one day. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But something clicked in my mind. That was the light switch moment when I realized that I didn't have to trade time for money anymore. And that if I could do it once, I could do it again. And just 4 months later, I had my first 6-figure month. I made $125,000 in 30 days. It was insane.
Okay. So much to unpack there,
I know,
right?
right?
So much to unpack. So you mentioned the Facebook ad course, and hat tip to Dino Gomez.
What's up, Dino?
I knew Dino when he didn't know anything about SEO, much less ads, right? And we were both part of this this group. We paid a lot of money to be in this group to learn how to do SEO extremely well.
Yeah.
Okay, extremely well. And Dino started making these posts that were very intriguing and very informative inside this group. And then he became his own coach, right? He became his own Facebook ads coach. And about that time, I was sitting there thinking, well, I'm really, really tired of SEO. And so I wanted to learn how to do paid ads. And that's how I found Dino, which led me to you. All right. And I saw your evolution, let's say, right? Not up close and personal, but close enough to say, holy shit, I knew her when. All right. So when you say, well, I made a decision, and that decision led to a belief. There's this book, Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. He is a biologist by trade, but he's come to the belief that our cells, not ourselves, but the cells inside of our body, are able to learn from our environment as long as we believe. Okay? So his big mantra now is, and he doesn't even teach biology anymore, he teaches mindset. He teaches that if you want change, then the first step is just believing that it's possible.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. I mean, that's 100% my experience, right? Is like, I needed my logical mind to get on board, right? To say, oh, it is possible to make more money. It is possible
No,
to
I
do something
disagree.
different.
You needed your subconscious mind to get on board with your logical mind.
Oh, see, and I don't agree with that, because my logic wasn't there. I didn't believe that it was possible. So if I didn't believe logically, my current self didn't believe that logically, then there was no way I would even open the door for the allowing
fair
of
enough.
subconscious.
Fair enough.
I remember the moment. I remember the moment of like doing the math, which seems so dumb now, but it was like I had to add it up like on my fingers and my toes and be like, how can I make $100,000 in 1 month? And it was realizing that if I made $10,000 in one day, I just needed to do that 10 times. And there was 30 days in a month, a third of the time I needed to be successful. I could do that, right? If I could do it once, I could do it 10 times in 1 month,
Yeah.
right? And so the logic got on board, which is ultimately what allowed my emotions to get attached to the idea that I could want it, because I wouldn't let myself want something that I couldn't possibly have, right?
Okay. Yeah. See, I will agree to that 100%. 100%. And I think, it's like a lot of people just like, well, I can't make that kind of money. It's just not possible. And they're out there working for a 1 or 2%, pay increase. How can they possibly believe that you can create $10,000 in a day, much less 100 and plus thousand in a month? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just like,
Well,
I don't,
and if you've never seen anybody do it, right? If you've never stood next to a human that you actually knew, that you could like touch on the nose, right? And it was just some ethereal person, like a celebrity or, an Elon Musk type character. They seem so far away. They seem like aliens, right?
right, right,
But if it's a person that you went to high school with, if it's a person that you met in a Facebook ads course, right? If it's someone that you've actually had a conversation with and you watch them do it, then the next belief pattern that comes in is like, well, it's possible for them, but it's not possible for me for this marriage of reasons, right?
right.
Whether it's deservedness, worthiness, timing, age, whatever discrepancy excuse you want to put into your head. You don't have to just believe that it's possible. You also have to believe that it's possible for you.
Okay. And now, is this the kind of thing that you kind of go through and help folks understand?
Yeah, this is how I've helped my clients. I have several seven-figure clients now that came to me making nothing. But it's the 4-minute mile, right? Is that once you realize it's
Yes, yes,
possible,
right,
you're like, well, I'm going to give it a shot, right? And if you never try, it was never possible in the first place, right?
right,
So
right.
you have to be willing to try. And so I help my clients to be willing to try.
Yeah. No, that's a great analogy. The 4-minute mile. Nobody believed that it was even possible to crack that barrier. But once it was cracked,
Oh.
everybody thought it was possible.
Mhm.
Well, if he can do it, why? There's no reason I can't. I'm better than he is. I think it's fascinating the difference between the physical and the mental, right? We think physically, and let's say physical would be like your technical skills. And we think, well, okay, technical skills. I can learn technical skills. Well, most people can. But how do we overcome our own mental 4-minute miles, right?
Yeah.
Our programming from childhood. How do we overcome that?
Well, the thing is, it's realizing that the programming was a choice in the first place. Once you realize and you stop blaming parents and socioeconomical things, once you take radical responsibility for the fact that you were the one to attach, you chose what your programming was. So if you were the one that chose it, then you are the only one that can change it.
So
And so once you can take responsibility, you can make the shift.
okay, so you're saying that all those psychologists who make you come in weekly for years aren't
How do they
helping?
make their money, Carrie? By not healing people.
Well, let's talk about your mother.
Let's. She always appreciates that.
No, no, I'm not talking about yours specifically. The psychologist. I mean, well, let's go back in time and talk about your mother. Reminds me of a Toby Keith song, right? So, okay, all right. So you had this epiphany, right? And you've made $10,000. You backed it up with, well, if I do this for 30 days and I'm only 33% successful, I could still make $100,000 in a month. And you did the math. I assume that with your fingers and toes, you actually put it on paper and calculated out the possibilities.
I did.
You did. Okay. So you had the month. And after you screamed and yelled and woohooed, right? What'd you do?
Told everyone I told you so. No, I told everyone I told you so, which felt really good. Um, that's a key part of success, is being able to tell the guy that fired you, like, look what I did after you fired me. Thank you, sir. Thank you for firing me. And then the next thing that I did, Carrie, I took that money and I went and bought 13 properties.
You did what?
I went and bought 13 properties with that money. I didn't pay off my house. I didn't pay off my car. I didn't pay off a credit card. I went and took all that money and I doubled down. and I got a hard money loan and put it down as the down payment on 13 properties that 16 months later would turn into $850,000 on the flip.
Wow. That's unconventional.
That's on top of the coaching revenue, not in addition to, right?
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. So the you're okay. I want to build a timeline, right?
Okay. Okay.
You decided to stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
How long was it between that date and $10,000?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. Okay. And between $10,000 and $125,000,
4 months.
4 months. And between $125,000 and $1 million.
5 months.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy
Between not drinking, like stopping drinking, and the $1 million day was less than 3 years.
All right. And on that date where you earned $1 million, what did you do then?
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice?
My assistant had to message me.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I mean, it makes sense though. I mean, at that point, money wasn't a thing anymore.
I was just going so fast. And I mean, there's all that money because there was all that client service, right?
Right.
Like the client service is what I was focused on. And so the money was coming in because I was so focused on the impact, right? So I
Right.
was in the mental lane of delivery. I had just closed, I don't know, I think about 20, 25 people into my offer. And so I was in the middle of delivery, and there was like one more person that came in like 2 weeks after the big pack of people. And I just wasn't paying attention because I was so enthralled in the delivery piece that I just didn't even notice.
Yeah. Again, the money didn't matter. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
not
you
at all.
charge the money because your transformation is you're creating a large transformation for people. It makes a
Mhm.
big difference in their lives. Um, like you said, you created what, seven-figure earners?
Yeah, there's, I think I'm at seven, six or seven.
Okay. I mean, I've known a lot of coaches over the last 14 years. I don't think many of them can say, "Well, I created 7 millionaires through my information."
My favorite one is my first, well, no, she's my second. She's my second one, but because her daughter at 19 years old also.
So mom did it, and mom said, "Hey, daughter, you need to do this too," and then she did it?
Yep. How's
Oh,
that for generational wealth?
oh, wow.
And they came from nothing. They came from nothing. Detroit, nothing.
Detroit.
Yeah.
That's one of the most rundown cities in America.
Hmm. Now she's killing
Wow.
it.
Wow. Now, you said you teach people how to, do social media marketing, is that right?
Yeah, I teach them how to sell on social, just marketing strategies.
There's that much money in it.
There's that much money in it. And, everyone wants to talk about saturation. There is no saturation. Saturation is not a thing. There are 3 billion people on Facebook, and really, how many do you need? If you look at your offer, if you can build an offer that's just $5,000, how many do you need to hit your income goal? Just not that many, right? It's just not
Yeah.
that many people in correlation to how many people are on a market that's growing every single day. Every single day, there's more people in the market, and every single day, there's more people realizing that they don't have to trade time for money. There's more people realizing that their 9 to 5 isn't the only way to do it anymore. I mean, we're in the middle of a socio-economical development, where people are realizing that intellectual property can be sold so fast. Um,
Yes, yes.
Overnight, and we're no longer limited by time and locality, or even how many clients you can serve. I mean, my middle tier program, my signature offer, is fully scalable. I could add 1,000 people to it tomorrow, and it wouldn't change any of the delivery for me.
Oh, nice. Well, okay, two things, right? The last couple of years have taught everybody I do not need to commute into a cubicle,
Yep,
right?
that's
I
right.
mean, e virtually every person that works for an employer found out that they were not necessary,
Yeah.
right? The government said so, the employer said so, and so everybody said, "Well, if I'm not necessary, what else can I do?" Right?
Well, because it also became, I mean, it's possibility, but it's also fear, right? If you realize that you're not necessary, that you're not an integral piece of this business, that the business will function without you, all of the sudden, that feeling of being replaced is so real, where you're like, "Oh my God, they could drop me at any moment and they would be fine." And so why am I putting all my eggs in this basket? That's just not smart or safe.
Well, now you're describing my early career,
Mhm,
right? Uh, I went into banking in 1983 because it was safe.
mhm.
Alright, I'd seen my father get laid off from Braniff and all the turmoil that caused. I mean, we're talking, early '80s, and I thought, "Well, I'm going into banking because banking's never had that." Well, 5.5 years later, I get laid off.
Mhm.
I go to work for another company. GE comes in and buys it. I get laid off again. I go to work for another company. GE comes and buys that one. And then they say, well, come to work for us. We like you. Oh, on the third layoff. Okay, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I worked for them for 6.5 years and never thought I had a job for more than 6 months at a time. I mean, that's crazy, right? Went to another job. I was going to a Caterpillar dealer, the largest one in the state of Texas. And I was going to create something from scratch they did not have, which was a true collections department. 13 months, we hit every one of our 2-year goals. I got fired.
Makes
And I
no
thought
sense.
at that point, it's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done. You guys keep saying go get a job, and that's the thing. You work for them, and you raise your family and all that. I'm like, no, I'm done. You keep laying me off. You keep firing me for doing a good job. I'm like, I'm out.
Mhm.
And at that point, I decided, well, if it's not 100% commission where I'm entirely responsible for what I do, I don't want a part of it.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I got fired from a job where I had took the bar from doing $15,000 a week to doing $150,000 a week, and they fired me.
probably some personality reason.
Yeah. And I mean, and the best thing is that I was sober. I mean, like there was no personality reason at that point. I mean, there was definitely a personality reason before, but there wasn't when they actually fired me. I had been sober for 7 months when they fired me.
Yes. Then, these defining moments are, I think a lot of people have come to the same conclusions that people like us came to a long time ago, right? There's a better way, there's an easier way. Um, and it's a way that, we still get to help and serve for sure, right?
More so because I'm not limited by somebody else's lack of vision.
Yeah, right. You don't have a lack of vision? Okay, great. I can help you. You have a lack of vision? I gotta sell you on the idea actually being real and working? No, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I just don't have you probably run into the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, being being who I am and being like young, I became a consultant for million and billion dollar companies when I was 24 years old, right? And I'm a girl, like I'm a 5'3", 5'3" girl, right? And nobody wanted to listen to me. Nobody wanted to listen to anything that I had to say. Everything was too risky and too ballsy, all the things. Like, look at what that turned into. Is like because I'm willing to do something different, because I'm willing to step outside of a box that everybody else wants to feel safe in. Like that's why I was able to build $1 million company in 13 months by myself because I didn't put myself into the safety box. And I was so sick of owners telling me like, well, I don't know, maybe we should back this off a little bit. I don't know if we should go all in on this idea. It's like, why would you do anything if you're not going to be all in on
Well, it's that thought process that drove me out of lead generation.
Yeah.
right? I'm driving you all of these leads, and you're sitting there saying one of two things. One of two things. The first is, "Hey, the phone's ringing too much. I can't handle all this. Can we turn it down?" It's like, "No, we can't turn it down. That's how I get paid. Why don't you go hire somebody? Buy a new truck or something, you know?" The second one is, same industry, same leads. These leads suck.
Right.
What
Right.
what
No,
how
you're not good at sales. That's what the problem is. And you're not willing to get better at it either.
Yes, exactly. You know,
Mhm.
like people think, well, the phone rings, I should be able to just pick it up and make a sale. No, that's when your job starts.
That's what business is.
Uh, yeah,
But people
not
don't wanna do it. People don't wanna get better. People yeah, that's the world that we live in, is that thing of complacency, which we can look at that as shitty and we can bitch about it all we want, but really, that's the world of opportunity, is that literally 99% of the population doesn't wanna improve. So if you are the kind of person that just has the drive to get better than you were yesterday, you're already beaten 60% of the population just because you're willing to try.
absolutely. And you read things like this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
read things like that. You read things like, what are other people doing in other industries, right?
Mhm.
What are they doing? And it's like, okay, I can be better. I don't know about you, but right now my whole life is about TikTok and short videos.
Yeah, same.
It's like,
Although I'm having to learn how to do YouTube ones now, and like it's real hard because it's real slow and like you have to do it all perfect, and like I'm so used to just putting the camera in front of my face and just saying things real fast, and now I have to like make YouTube ones. But it's like you got to stretch your brain, right? You got to get better at each one of those steps.
well, okay, I'm 60, right? I'm 60. I'm not supposed to be doing these types of things according to conventional wisdom. But I'm not I'm only 60 in the sense that, well, that's how long I've been on earth, but mentally I'm not 60. It's like, they say, well, all the kids know how to do all this technology. How do you know how to do it? Because I'm a smart motherfucker. I figure it out.
Because if those idiot kids can do it, then so the fucking we.
Right? Right? I was like, it's nothing more than pattern recognition. Right? If you look at a screen and you see all of these thumbnails, which ones stand out? Oh, notate what they do. Not
What's working?
hard, right?
What's working? That's it.
But it's like, okay, what do they say in the opening 5 seconds? It's like 5 seconds. Okay, what do they say? Great, that's what I need to say, right? And there's a clear pattern to these things. There's a clear pattern to how to get clients on social media. There's things to do and not do.
Mhm.
98% of the people do the wrong thing,
Yeah.
right?
And
I
that
mean,
makes it easier for the rest of us, right? Like that's the way I see it. I look at these marketers and I see them fucking it up left and right, and I think to myself, good.
good. All right. So let me ask you this, and I actually hate saying that, but I have to ask this. How have you been able to pass on your mental acuity, your mental agility to your clients in order for them to have the breakthrough?
Yeah. Um, really, so much of this is modeling, right? Is people don't do what the fuck we say. They do what we do. And they embody that environment. I mean, just like what you're talking about that at that cellular level, right? Exposure is the therapy, is to expose somebody to your thoughts, your ideas, your concepts, but also just like the energy that you bring with it. My clients get that touch point, right, at a foundational level where they're seeing things differently and challenged. I challenge my clients. I don't pat them on the head. I don't tell them how amazing they are. I don't sit there and cheerlead for them and hold their hands and drag them over the finish line. I refuse to do that. I show them what's possible and I ask them questions that help them to see themselves differently. Because that's what I needed to do in order to be successful. Is I needed to see myself differently. I needed to take the existing skill sets that were there and then repackage them and put them into a different context. And so I challenge my clients to look at the skill sets that they already have in a different way, which means viewing themselves differently. I ask them questions. It drives them fucking crazy. But that's the point, because the thing that they're saying right now isn't working, right? So it's helping them to see why. Why isn't it working?
Why?
Because you're looking at it from the wrong direction.
Well, I would expect nothing less from you. I mean, you're a person that uses the word radical responsibility,
Yes.
right? I mean, so if you're not pushing your clients versus coddling your clients, then how could you possibly hang on to radical responsibility?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
can't take ownership for what they do, right?
no, you can't have codependency as a coach. If you are codependent as a coach, you are not a coach. You are an enabler.
Yeah, I've run into marketers who feel like, well, how do I phrase this? I don't necessarily want them to hear themselves here. But the idea is, in general, right, that they feel responsibility for things that are not in their control,
Sure.
right? So, like, let's take lead generation, for example. I do Facebook ads. I make your phone ring. I make your phone ring. All right. I can't be responsible for whether you actually make sales or not.
Yeah. Or whether you answer that phone or not.
Well, yes, yes, yes. I mean, if you have experience driving traffic via phone calls, you can tell whether somebody actually answers a phone or not, right? I mean, you get a report, 75% answered, 80% answered. Well, I had a client for 10 years that I drove phone calls for, and his answer rate was 100% for 10 years. And not only that, they were aggressive at calling people back that they didn't set an appointment with. They would call them back 6, 7, 8 times. And, other people would say, well, I didn't get a hold of that lead. Well, like, okay, what did you do? Well, I called him back once. Okay, can I tell you a story, right? There's a difference between what you do and what the guy who's the leader in the market does.
Right.
But that's true no matter what service you provide.
And
right?
as a coach, it's not my job to do it for you. And quite honestly, it's unethical for me to do it for you. This is what I see in the market. I see this marketing thing that goes out and these little banners, right? And they say guaranteed $20,000 months, guaranteed $100,000 months, right? Guaranteed. I don't guarantee anything. You want to know why? Because I can't guarantee that you are going to show up and do a good job. I can't guarantee that. I can
Right.
guarantee that I'm going to show up and do a good job.
Right.
But I can't guarantee what you're going to behave like. And furthermore, I mean, when you work in this industry around coaching, I work with mindset coaches, I work with health coaches, I work with people that do trauma stuff, I work with people that are, very intimate style of work. What if that client that closes into my program is just shitty at what they do? What if they're just a bad coach? Should I guarantee them $20,000 months? What if they're not good at what they do? I don't know if they're good at what they do, right?
Right.
I don't want to help you if you're not good at what you do. And the way that my program runs, it filters people out that are shitty. Instead of empowering the lowest common denominator, the way I teach you to market teaches you to showcase the results you actually have. Because that's what I see in the coaching industry. The problem, right, is this pyramid scheme of coaches who actually don't have the results they're selling. They're just copying their coaches' results. And that's some bullshit. I don't believe in that, right? So I repel that inside of the way that I train people. I don't do guarantees. I don't drag you over the finish line. I'm not going to write your fucking copy for you. And I'm not going to hold your hand through a workshop. I'm going to give you the tools and you get to choose. You get to choose if you build the house or not. Here's the hammer. I'm going to show you how to use it, but you're the one that has to pick it up and swing it.
Right.
If you miss the nail, do it again.
Yeah. No, beautiful. Love it. I mean, I absolutely love that because I have seen both sides, right? I did a coaching program, just, moderate kind of thing. I was teaching people how to do a single thing, right? A single thing, how to build properties online that you could generate phone calls and sell those phone calls, right? I was selling a process on how to generate leads for businesses.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, I'm gonna walk you through it. 4 sessions, hour and a half each. It's not. It's one of those things, right? It's simple. It's simple, but it's hard.
Yeah,
Why is it hard? Because it requires you to actually do something.
that's right.
I
The
can
simple
explain it in
things,
yeah, I can explain it in 6 hours.
yeah.
I can walk you through everything in 6 hours. I can even show you results in 6 hours, but I can't
Yeah.
do it for you.
The simplest things to do are the simplest things not to do.
Yeah, yeah. And that process, I had about 100 people come through and pay me money to do it. Some even paid me twice. So okay, whatever. But only about 3 people actually did it. Yeah, about 3 people did it.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I find that to be true everywhere. It's like, okay, well, you
yeah,
know,
I mean, I had this idea in my head that when people pay more, they pay attention, right? But even when I was like I had a tier, it's gone up since then, but I had a tier that was 30,000 and it was $30,000 and I still had people who didn't open the modules, who didn't come to calls. I'm like, you paid $30,000. It's just not enough sometimes.
wow. Um, yeah, I can see that not being enough for some people. I mean, money's relative, right?
That's right.
And if you're already at $1 million and I give you 30,000, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
Some people it just doesn't click in their heads, they don't really have the drive, they don't really have the desire for the result.
Have you found since you've been elevated, your life has been elevated not only through your mindset but through your income and your financial stability, that what you used to perceive as problems are not really problems?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know that money solves that, but I do think that your vantage point does, right? It makes me pretty unrelatable. I don't really have friends because I don't really care to listen to it. It's like the things that they think are problems are so easily solved if they would just change their behavior pattern, right? It's like you got friends with like some shitty dude and you stop that stops being a thing, right? Where it's like you're choosing this. You're choosing to date him. You don't have to. You could date anybody. Like, why are you choosing him? I'm tired of listening to this. People that are focused on problems are exhausting to be around, right? And so it's like once you've created this amount of solution in your life, you're just unwilling to subject yourself to people who only care about problems.
Yes, 100%. I mean, one of the topics that seems to filter through the internet world is, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I can't get to 5.
No, definitely not.
I mean, that's the real problem. I can't find 5.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've paid for big masterminds. I had this idea in my head, which I mean, looking back, it was just very much like a little girl idea, that I was gonna buy this big mastermind. And I did. I bought it. It was $55,000 pay in full. I wrote the fucking check. I wired it. And I had this idea that I was gonna open those doors and all those people that everyone talks about were gonna be behind those doors. Wrong. Just absolutely dead wrong. I got into that room and I was like, oh, y'all are a bunch of idiots. Like, it was just like everyone paid 55 grand to be here. And so I thought that it was going to be this caliber of person. And it wasn't. It was the same bullshit. Money
Are
doesn't filter that out. It's
are
mindset.
you kidding?
I was so
Even at
disappointed.
that level, you still had the same kind of,
Same
um
bullshit.
oh, that's crazy.
It was crazy. And I was so surprised. I was so surprised because I really thought that that was the door, but it wasn't. I mean, it was exactly the same as a $3,000 program. It wasn't any different.
Right, right. Well, you know the program that I'm in currently, and I will tell you this, that I'm always shocked at how few people actually show up.
Oh yeah, no, it's astounding.
Well, there's 4 sessions a week. Why you not even show up for one? What? How? How? I know how much you paid.
You know, when I was in that program, I never missed a call. Not a single one. I was on every
That's what I feel.
I was
I
on every
paid
single
for
call.
access. Damn it! Give
Mhm.
me the access. All right, here it is.
I'm in a program now. They have like, I mean, it's a sales program. There's like, I don't know, like 22 calls a week, right? But I went through and I picked my favorite guys. Like I went to all the calls and I picked my two favorite guys, right? And then I picked my least favorite one. And now I'm busy. I've got clients all day. I've got shit to do, right? I have massages to go to. Like whatever. But I watch
My
all of
fingers.
those. Yeah, I watch all of those calls on replay every week.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the abilities that we have with technology today is being able to um, speed things up so that we can listen to them as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, I'm from the South. I talk a little bit slower, but I don't. But I don't think slower, right? And I can listen at 1.5, 1.3, 3/4, or 1.75 or 2, sometimes depending on if the speaker's from the South, I can go to 2.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, that's one of the things that we can take advantage of. However, when you don't attend, you don't get to ask questions.
Sure. When you don't show up, you don't get the question points. In this style program, it's all sales modeling, so you don't ask questions anyways. But it's real interesting that that double time thing. I have my whole staff now is in an app. We use Telegram, and so Telegram has a double time feature, and so my entire staff, everything we run is always on double time. And so that like trains your brain, right? It trains your brain. So now I can watch replays of these coaching. I mean, there's too many. There's 22 calls a week. It's insane.
Right.
But I can watch 4 of them in 2 hours,
Yeah.
right? So I can put it all on double time and while I'm doing something else and get it all done. And you learn that maximized efficiency, but that doesn't come from your first program. That doesn't come before you're successful. It's like I already am successful, so I'm picking out what I'm looking for specifically and going through and fine tuning things. I'm not learning it for the first time, right?
Well, that's true too. Yeah, absolutely.
This is
Absolutely.
my 4th sales program that I've taken in the last 2 years.
So you're better at sales now?
Much, much, much better.
All right. What is your advice for people who are, let's just say they're on this entrepreneurial journey, but they haven't figured out that they can release some of those tasks, right? They're still in that 100% ownership of everything. What is your advice to those people in order to be able to get to the next level? What's the first thing or the next thing that they should be doing?
Once you understand the scope of work of what you're doing every day, you got to realize that your time is better well spent on some tasks than others. For instance, the business accrues some expenses and we buy stuff, right? We have a credit card, we buy stuff. Is it the highest and best use of my time to go through and be the person that's categorizing all those things and putting them into QuickBooks? Like, of course not. I can pay somebody $20 an hour to do data entry, even though I could do it myself and I would be faster at it than this person doing it, right? I would be faster, I would be better, I would be more thorough. But the 4 hours that I would spend doing that a week is better well spent on 4 sales calls where I could potentially make $40,000.
Right.
Once you understand the value of your time, then it is positioning that time effectively to only engage in profit lever behaviors. If it's not a profit lever behavior and you're looking to scale, getting yourself out of making 5 or 10 grand a month and getting up to 30 or 50K a month, the most important thing that you can do is give yourself your scalable time back, being in that profit lever action. And that means clearly identifying the things inside of your business that you shouldn't be doing.
Right. No, that's 100%. Yeah. So you mentioned bookkeeping, right? You're going to outsource that bookkeeping. That's the niche that I'm in. That's the niche. Bookkeeping, accountants, CPA firms that are not startups. Oh, no, 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 no. But those
When
who,
you're a startup, you need to do your own book so that you learn what not to do.
well, the idea though is that there's so much opportunity out there that you don't know how to grab it. I mean, look, I'm frustrated right now. I'll be honest, I'm frustrated because there are so many people out there that don't understand what Google has given them, right? And everybody says, "Oh, Google's this bad." No, 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 no. They're a great firm. If you have a business and you want to grow that business, Google has given you the tools to do so. And they don't even charge you money for it. Absolutely. They do not charge you money for it, right? I mean, they want you to, grow and get into their advertising programs, but there's so much opportunity that I literally can show 98% of the firms out there how to get another $200,000 for their business and not hire any new employees, not hire and pay for advertising or anything else. All they have to do is this one thing. And if they do it, customers will come to them. And it's like so crazy. Why are you guys in the 1990s? Right? We don't use yellow pages anymore.
No.
I mean, do you teach people how to get new clients by going to Chamber of Commerce and doing word of mouth marketing?
BMI meetings?
Yeah, do you? Do you?
Absolutely not. It's so slow.
Well, yes, but it's a relationship business, Nicole. We have to.
Relationships are built on this little thing these days.
Really? Do you really believe that?
I do.
Well, I do too. I do too. Look, I'm the guy. I said I was 60, right? Well, I'm the guy that just chafed when they came out with pagers. I don't want you to be able to contact me. A pager? All right. So then cell phones came out. Don't want one of those.
Oh yeah. I was the last one. I didn't want to get one because I was in high school. But I didn't want a cell phone because I didn't want my parents to know where I was at.
Well, I didn't want anybody to know where I was at either. So I'm gonna show you this thing right here, right?
Oh, is that a Motorola?
It's a flip phone. So it's like everybody's talking about these apps and smartphones this and like, okay, from a marketing perspective, man, I'm tapping into it. Man, I was doing responsive display websites in 2013 and everybody else is saying, "No, you got to have a mobile website." I'm like, blah, 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 blah. "No, you don't. Why are you paying for a mobile website? That's stupid. Your entire website needs to be responsive." Right? The entire thing. Now, you're sitting there thinking, "Well, what do you mean? That's the way they all are." Not in 2013. All right. But from a marketing standpoint, I realized that I could get phone calls and they don't even have to go to a website. I mean, that's what I was teaching is like, look, there's a way that you can do this. And all you have to do is get in the search results. And if you get in the search results and your phone number's there, guess what's going to happen?
Gonna ring.
It's going to ring. They're going to call because all they want is the phone number anyway, right? They just want the phone number. They don't want to fill out your contact form. They don't want to send you an email. That's just how you're forcing them in some stupid way to contact you. They want to do this and text you. That's what they want. All right. So if your people aren't doing texting, they're missing out. That's how people want to be communicated with.
Texting is the best.
Yes. Like I explained I was talking with this Aussie and he's an accountant, runs an accounting firm. And I said to him, "What would you rather have? Would you rather have your message going out and only 35% of the people that receive it open it, or Would you rather have your message going out and have 98% of the people read it? I said, that, I mean, that to me is a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I digress. The idea though is that from a marketing standpoint, there's things that are happening that we have to take ourselves out of, right? Say I don't want to use a smartphone, but I'm being forced to use a smartphone because all the technology is reliant on the fact that it's a smartphone, right? If you want to do a TikTok video, they make it incredibly hard to do it outside of a phone.
Yeah.
So me and Camtasia, it's like our relationship is growing apart.
What happened? You used to be so close.
We were so close, right? We did everything together. now, now Camtasia doesn't even want to kiss me goodnight. I don't understand. But don't you find that to be true though? It's like you're trying to explain how to do things to certain people, and they're like, "Yeah, but I don't like doing it that way. I don't like using it." I don't need you to like using it. I need you to understand why you want to use it.
Willingness is a skill set.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm having to build up that muscle where smartphones are, the target.
I'm the kind of coach that trains my competition, right? So it's like people come to me because they want to do what I do in slightly different capacities. But a good chunk, probably 25-30% of my clients have the same niche as me. So they come to me and I'm training my competition. So that means that I must be willing to evolve. Even though I have a badass strategy that totally works, I'm going to train it to them. And then I'm going to need to be willing to learn the next thing. Right. I'm going to need to be willing to ascend with the technology. If I don't, I'm dead in the water, because if I'm not willing to do it, somebody else will be. If I want to stay at the top of the market, you got to engage in those 1%er behaviors, right?
Yes, 100%. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions now that are completely different.
All right.
Are you ready?
All right, strap me up. Let's go.
What is something that most people think is important that I can just skip entirely?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I got one for you. Good. All right. So everybody thinks that you have to build a Facebook group. You have to. If you don't build a Facebook group, you're not going to make any money. You have to have a Facebook group. The problem is that most people are not that good at building Facebook groups. You can totally skip that and make $10,000 to $30,000 a month just using your personal page. It's faster, the connections are more real, and you don't have to waste all that time and energy building a group. After you're making $10,000 to $30,000 a month on your personal page, then build a Facebook group and it'll build 10 times faster.
Awesome. I'm going to take that advice.
You should.
All right. What is something that's important to your daily routine that you wish you had started sooner?
Besides the not drinking.
That could be it. We talked about that. That was pretty important.
I wish I would have started taking my afternoons off sooner, right? Like I'm done working at 1. I don't work past 1 o'clock. I do whatever the hell I want after 1 o'clock. I wish I would have started that about 6 months sooner. It gives me a lot more mental acuity, a lot more mental space to limit my calendar. I thought in the beginning that I needed to be available all the time because I didn't want to miss out on leads or miss out on client time. But really limiting my schedule has allowed me to become so much more efficient, right? I wish I would have done that sooner.
Do you find that when you do that solutions come easier?
Absolutely. I'm more rested, right?
Yeah. Okay. They talk about if you're always thinking about your problem, you don't ever give your subconscious brain the ability to actually find an answer.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of talk about it in the context of like, if you're so focused on the hole that you forget that you're in a boat, right?
Yeah. All right. Last one. What are the biggest struggles you face today, and how can I start thinking about those ahead of time?
Get the cheat codes, right? Get the cheat codes. Okay, so biggest struggle that I have right now is definitely personnel shaping, development, all of those pieces. I built this business super fast, right? So I built the plane in the air. That was definitely how that went. I am too slow to fire, or too slow to fire. So I'm too fast to hire and I'm too slow to fire. And that is something that I definitely have learned several times. And so getting better at the process of who to trust in what position and in what capacity. The thing to do to get ahead of yourself on this is to systemize before you bring people in. Even though it would be better to bring somebody in and then build the system around them. Because it's trial and error and it's not going to be perfect, but really you should put yourself into the position and then build your systems around yourself, and then put somebody in there and then make reflect and refine decisions. I'm very idealistic. I trust people very quickly. I believe in them. I see potential more than I see actuality, which makes me really shitty at hiring. So from here on out in my business, I'm not allowed to hire anymore. I've empowered somebody else on my team who is much more discerning to make the hiring decisions, and then I will support them in whatever that decision is. I can shape anybody. I'm good at shaping. But if I pick somebody based on a potential based attachment, I'm not a good leader.
Okay, that is a fantastic answer. Love it. Love it. All right, Nicole, tell us how we can find you and who you actually serve.
All right. So you got to come to the Facebook group, right? It's called Unicorn Client Attraction Secrets for High Vibe Wonder Women. And in my world, Wonder Woman is a mindset. It is not a gender bias. And you got to check out the podcast. It's called Real Unicorns Don't Wear Pants. Get ready for all of the explicit fun. It's nonsense. It's unicorns and buttholes over there. And the best people for this are people that are, breaking into that entrepreneurial mindset, keeping in mind that I came from the service industry. I am a bartender. I am an overgrown bartender who has built a multi-million-dollar company in a very short amount of time. If you are the kind of person who likes to be inspired by big money stories coming from people who are unlikely candidates, you like a little bit of an underdog, I will definitely help you. If you're the kind of person who is lazy and doesn't want to do anything to make money but just expects everybody else to do shit for you, stay the fuck out of my lead pool, okay? I'm not interested in you.
Just stay over there on TikTok and watch videos.
Yeah, that's it. Watch the videos, it's fine. Don't message me.
Awesome. Nicole, thank you very much. This has been a pleasure.
Yeah, Cherie, it's so great to catch up. And I just want to give like a personal nod and a personal thank you, because you were definitely one of those people back when I was really, really struggling through Facebook ad land that was willing to help me and willing to help me to get my head around those basic level concepts that were very challenging for me. So I very much appreciate you and your patience and just willingness to help a tech challenged person to learn enough to get the basis to eventually become a millionaire. So I very much appreciate you.
Wow, that was unexpected. Thank you. I'm tongue-tied.